Hey everybody, Tony here from the Malting Hour. Just want to let you know we had some technical difficulties while recording this episode you're about to hear. Sometimes it'll sound fine, other times it might sound a little phasery, and other times it might just sound like there's a little bit of an echo. We were aware of it at the time, but we weren't able to fix anything, and we just had a great conversation with Ray. I hope it doesn't take away from this episode, but just a heads up before we get into it. This week, we're joined by Ray Stout to discuss Beer Under Glass and Illinois Craft Beer Week 2023. This is episode 110 of the Malting
What's the
Hour.
hats on the hops? Got yeast, that's beast. This the Malting Hour where we talk about our drink and tell you what we think every other week. And if we get drunk, well, we might slur our speech. Got the gift of gab, the friends you wish you had. Join us for a drink, join us for a laugh. Time is never wasted, where you getting wasted. The Malting Hour here, people take your places. People take your places. People take your home.
Welcome to the Malting Hour. I am one of your hosts, Tony Golick, joined always with...
Brandon Winning Jr.
How you doing, Brandon?
Good, are you?
That seemed like you were questioning who you were. I know you were putting the headphones on.
So, whatever's going on, like, I'm lagging now, but not nearly as bad as you were lagging. It's like a half a second.
I can't wait to edit it. It's going to be so much fun. So much fun. So you're doing okay?
Oh, yes, I'm doing great.
You seem very busy lately.
Well, yeah, I was in New Orleans this past weekend.
How was that?
It was good. Went down there for a bachelor party. Friend of the show, Pat, is getting married.
Cheers, Pat.
Labor Day weekend.
Thanks for the invite. Just joking. I wouldn't have been able to go.
And yeah, so they're getting married in Chicago. But yeah, New Orleans is like his top favorite city. So we went down there and hung out. And
How much time did you spend on Bourbon Street?
collectively, maybe an hour.
Not bad. That's the way to do it.
We spent a lot of time on Frenchman Street.
There you go.
Down there, and then just did like a crap ton of walking.
That's the thing I always tell people when they're going to New Orleans is like, if you've never been there, sure, go spend some time there on Bourbon Street. But if you've been there before, you just go there for a little bit and that's it. You don't have to spend too much time there.
No, and we had some. I think they were younger dudes that are his like wife's relatives that had never been to
Beyonce's relatives.
yes, his soon-to-be wife.
Soon-to-be.
Yeah, so these
I will correct
these young
everything
dudes,
you
they
say.
were like, "Yo, we gotta go to Bourbon Street. We gotta go to Bourbon Street. Like, what do we gotta do?" And I was like, "Just go to Bourbon Street, man." They were staying in a
We'll see you later.
They were staying in a separate Airbnb too.
Oh,
so
perfect.
I think they may have gone at like after. It couldn't have been the first night because Thursday night they got there. I got there Friday night. We went to Jazz Fest.
So Wu-Tang Clan.
Saw 20
Super
minutes of
jealous.
Wu-Tang Clan.
That's enough. I mean, not enough, but I'm jealous because I've seen 0 minutes of
20 minutes of Robert Plant
Ah,
and
yes.
Allison.
Yeah. It begins with a C or a K. It's a K sound.
K, I think.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to see
Oh,
her in June.
Yeah, but they have I think they did either a country album or they just had some songs they did together like years ago and they were performing. And he did some like Zeppelin tunes,
Sweet.
like slowed down Zeppelin tunes, which was kind of neat. And then we went over and saw Lizzo.
How was Lizzo?
Insane. There was a crap ton of people over there.
That's awesome.
And then we were like, all right, we're done. And we took off. But we were there from like 3-ish to 7, which is crazy. So Jazz Fest ends at 7.
Yeah, you were saying that before
And it's awesome. Like you go and there's still night left and it's like, or, there's stuff to do. And
Real quick, I'm going to throw this out here. Ray Stout is here. And Ray, it's been 15 episodes since the last time you were on here and we talked about 20 years of FOBAB. And you are the executive director of the Illinois Craft Brewers Guild. The only way I'm throwing that, or the only reason why I'm throwing it out there now is because I didn't know if you want to jump into the conversation.
Yeah, no, I have a lot to cover. So
No, I mean about New Orleans.
yeah, Wu-Tang is for the children, first of all.
I just didn't want you to think you had to sit there in silence.
Yeah, no, I was just waiting to be introduced. So.
Well, and it's like
Thank you.
normally.
what a proper guest.
Well, it's funny because like normally I'll do it right away, but then I was like, oh, let me ask Brandon how he's actually doing. And then it led into a whole nother conversation. Ray, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. And continue. New Orleans sound awesome. Yeah. I love New Orleans.
Yeah.
We always stay in the Garden District, Magazine Street over there. That's my little tip is that you don't need to be down on Bourbon Street.
We walked about it wasn't 3 miles, but probably a good 2 miles down Magazine Street. There was a place that we went for lunch called Frankie and Johnny's, which is like not too far from Magazine Street, maybe like
sounds like a Chicago
little over a
place
quarter of a mile
for hot dogs.
Now they had good like I had like an alligator sausage po' boy. They had like fried oyster po' boys, and then they actually had crawfish that day. I'm not a huge crawfish guy.
Really?
Yeah.
I like crawfish. Howard Street. I don't know if by the time this comes out, I think Howard Street has already done their crawfish.
It's on Sunday, this coming Sunday.
Oh shit. Well, it was yesterday, according to when this episode is coming out. Anybody who went, let us know how it was.
And it's not so much that I don't like them. I don't
Aggie's
like
here.
the whole process of like dealing with them.
Sucking the head.
The disembowelment.
I guess I have to be in the mood to like deal with it. And I was just like, you know what? No, just give me the alligator sausage. So I went that route.
What? Didn't you guys go to a brewery as well?
No, we went to the Sazerac house,
What is
which Sazerac is the overall company that owns like Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare, stuff like that.
Aggie really wants to be on this episode. It normally happens. I didn't know. I thought when you had checked in that you were at an actual brewery. I don't remember what brewery I went to the last time I was down there. But I was with a bunch of non-craft beer drinkers, and we walked in there, and I was like, "This will be great." The place was beautiful. We all grabbed a beer and started leaving, and it was not good. It wasn't far. Actually, I'm not going to say where it was at because I don't want to crap on anybody, but it just wasn't great. So I thought maybe you had found a brewery that we could recommend.
Just stick to the hand grenades.
Absolutely,
Those giant neon green yard sticks.
Fantastic. So I will say that. So like if if I end up on Bourbon Street going to New Orleans, I will do one of those drinks because I'm there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you're there. You might as well have it. One other thing before, Ray, we get into what we're talking about was that last week we did the Meals on Wheels Chicago on Tap.
We did.
That was a lot of fun.
I mean, we were there. We didn't do much.
By doing, I mean, we had a table that people thought was for their food and drinks because it was that same type of table. I'm not knocking Meals on Wheels, by the way. It was just our setup because we didn't need a full table. We said we just need something small.
Yeah.
So that's what we were given. So, whatever. A bunch of stickers and magnets went out.
Hey, that's all that matters.
It was a lot of fun. We were set up there with Chuck from Howard Street and Matthew from Old Irving.
Literally sandwiched in between both of them.
It was so much fun. Rev was there, and so, Sipes. Sipes was there. I finally figured out how to pronounce it.
Oh, okay, good. At least one
I
of us
didn't
did.
know it because Sipes, type, it's on the website. I was reading it recently. We'll have more on that in a future episode. So that was cool. That was a lot of fun, and thanks to everybody. Oh, wait. Who did we meet? there? Oh, God, what's his name? I'm so shitty.
Beer Guide Bard.
Yes. So nice to finally meet him. I had no idea who he was. We did not introduce him right away.
That's his Instagram handle, but he's like, he apparently is a super fan of the show.
Shout out to him. Thank you so much.
Shout out. Listens very regularly, and we were talking about Dunkles recently.
Yes.
And he sent us some recommendations of places in Oak Park that make pretty good Dunkles. So I think we're gonna do a little mini tour of Oak Park in the future
and bring him with us.
Yeah.
Bring him along. Very nice. But anyways, Ray, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me.
How's it going?
Things are going pretty well. Craft Beer Week is coming up, so
Soon.
things are
Coming in
crazy.
Yeah, so let's see. 5, 6, 7, 8. This is on May 8th, this episode. I just did quick math. I hope I'm right. That is correct. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so Illinois Craft Beer Week starts
May 19th.
Thank you.
Yes.
Right after I come back from Arkansas.
Well, we were waiting for you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I got real nervous because I thought we were going to be I'm not putting Memorial Day weekend in my brain with that. But my wife and I are going to Arkansas for a music festival, and I thought that maybe it was Illinois Craft Beer Week was that leading into that weekend, and I was so upset. Like once I had sent out an email about Bug, I was like, "Oh no, I'm asking for Brandon because I don't know if I'm in town." I am in town, so very excited. Illinois Craft Beer, yeah.
Oh,
I'm around.
I just realized I bought Cubs tickets for Benjamin's first Cubs game that day, but it's an afternoon game.
Oh, fantastic!
So,
Drop them off at home.
Yeah.
You and I will meet at the Metro again. Heading back down. It'll be a fun time.
Yeah.
Head right back down. That's right.
So, Ray, tell us. I mean, we are going to talk about beer under glass,
Sure.
but do you want to get into a little bit about Illinois Craft Beer Week?
Yeah. So, Illinois Craft Beer Week is statewide celebration of beer enthusiasts, breweries, and retailers, and everybody who makes this industry so great. And of course, podcasters, right?
Hey, thanks, man.
So we're kicking off May 19th, and one thing that I'm really excited about this year is you two are the first to hold in your hot little hands the new physical passports.
Yes.
We are bringing back the physical passport.
That's exciting.
One thing to say, there's 4,000 of these in the wild, so it's going to be a little bit of a scavenger hunt to go find them.
Oh man, I feel really honored.
Yeah,
Thank you.
there you go.
And you also we got a sneak peek of the glass this year.
It's trippy how much it actually looks like an actual passport.
I know you were testing the mics earlier. I told Ray, I'm like, Laura wants me to get a passport. I've just been so lazy about it. I'm like, I'm going to try and use this and see if I can, go overseas.
I did it, honey.
I'm going to tell her tonight, I'm like, check it out. I got that passport. I did it. Thanks, Ray.
Apparently it's only good for the summer. It's a summer passport.
Oh shit, we gotta find this summer. The glass is super cool. The last year's glass was also super cool. Is someone mowing their lawn? Right by your window. Well, we can't turn that off, so that's all right. Sorry, Ray. Continue.
Yeah, the glass at first.
It's so nice outside. I mean, I can't blame them. That's fine.
Feels like summer. I'm wearing shorts for one of the first times this year. Yeah, the glass is cool. We went with a very retro vibe with the homage to Fobab and some of the barrel aging stuff, and that's available at about 150 breweries across the state, and so you're gonna have to do a little digging to find that, but all that information is available on our website.
I feel like it was super easy last year, especially being in Chicago, because there were so many places that had like events for it, and you can come in and grab it. I got mine last year from Old Irving.
Yeah.
Just plugging those guys. Nothing. It's not like they're friends of ours or anything. Matthew was supposed to be here tonight. He's at a birthday party. I hope he's having fun. It's super cool glass. Thank you for bringing these for us.
Yeah, no problem. And if you want another one, go pick one up at Old Irving.
Absolutely. Or anywhere else that has it, because I probably will grab another one. I need another pint glass in the hole.
That's right. But we try to change the design every year and make it a little collectible and a little interesting. So, it's just something that makes the week a little special, because, one thing that we found is, running a craft beer week in today's market is unique, right? And so I could see him mowing the lawn right out there. That's amazing.
I'm so sorry.
There's just legs going across the... I'm sorry.
For all the times that we've recorded, we've never had the lawnmower. No. And I'm very picky about background noises. Like Brandon just unplugged the refrigerator that's over here, but we can't do anything. It's great. Right. Summer's here, baby. Just in time for Craft Beer Week.
So I mean, the studio.
No, I like this. This is good.
Soundproof the basement.
Sorry. Ray, continue.
I don't know. I don't even remember where I was.
I don't either. Actually, let's real quick before we jump back into that. We did just get through. Unless Brandon, you had a question.
Yeah.
Ray and I have already finished. Sorry.
I was gonna ask if you were segueing to the beer.
That's what I was gonna do too. Ray, what did we just drink? Normally we don't ask the guests, but
I was up at Illuminated Brewworks the other day, dropping off passport stuff, and they handed me this Trust lager, and I like to call this an evening lager because it's 6% alcohol. So I always go, and one of the perks of my job is that there's always a lot of beer around, and I've always offered beers everywhere I go, and I try to say the lightest one and the smallest one. And so, this is what I got, but it's absolutely delicious. And so
it's a blessing.
Shout out to you.
There are episodes that we do where they're giving us beer to go, like, oh, that's great. And then, if you check Brandon's little other beer fridge or his beer fridge here, there's probably a bunch of beers that we haven't gotten to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
It's great. I mean, it is a nice perk, and that's super cool. This is, I like that you call it an evening lager, because we have a thing where it's like sometimes there's a beer that's really nice that you have in an evening summer fire. Yeah. This is one of those. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's higher than Budweiser, but man, it didn't drink like 6%.
No, very easy drinking, and definitely a pro tip. I like it a lot.
That is one I would get again. 100%.
Absolutely. There's actually like a nice little hoppy bitterness to it that I wasn't really expecting, and it's not like bitter like IPA wise, but maybe like leaning more towards like a bit more bitter than your average lager.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I like it. It's good. And plus, I love all the designs on their can, which are super, super, super cool.
Oh, I know where I was.
Oh,
and so
bringing it back. Thank you, Ray.
Bringing it back, right? So, running a craft beer week now is especially hard because the industry is just so big. So we actually just surpassed 300 breweries, and pretty much every week in the state of Illinois is craft beer week, right? There's another collaboration or another release. And so how do you do something special, right? And so the idea of craft beer week is, as the guild, kind of building a roadmap and telling the brewers and the retailers and the consumers, like, go crazy with it. Let's do some releases. Let's do some collaborations. Let's do some tap takeovers. But, let's build in cool things like a passport and build in cool things like a pint day. And obviously 2 festivals this year for the first time. And so we're excited about both of them. The first one is actually a partnership between us and Habitat for Humanity of Will County.
Super cool.
That's getting rolled into what we're calling a Day of Giving. And so, craft breweries and brewers across the state are really cornerstone businesses in their communities. And they're often the ones that are hosting fundraisers or donating their space to nonprofit groups. And, we're using this day to really hold up that good work in a really meaningful way. And so the way we're doing it as the Guild is supporting the Will County Beer and Bourbon Festival. Oh, and so, cool. So that's going to be out in Joliet.
Brandon and I just made eye contact across the bar here. Like, did you know about that? Is this something we're going to try and do? I mean,
shall we have some bourbon?
It's a possibility.
So on Saturday, May 20th, that's going down, and all proceeds for that goes to support Habitat of Humanity of Will County to build veterans homes. Which is a pretty cool thing, right? And so
super cool.
If we could drink beer and have some bourbon, have some barbecue and listen to music and raise some money for a good cause.
We got to go to this, Brandon.
We thought, why the heck not, right? And the
I'll go to Juliet.
Fine, we'll go. My sister used to live there. I know how to get there, and I got married down in Juliet.
And the other, festival obviously is Beer Under Glass.
Absolutely.
I'm sure we'll talk a lot about that.
For sure. I wanted to go back to that. Like, that's one of the themes that we have discussed many times here on the podcast. And as of late, when we were talking a lot about the Meals on Wheels, Chicago on Tap. The craft beer community is more than just like beer. I mean, it is beer. You know what I mean? Like, we all have that common interest of beer, but it's such an awesome community. Like, no matter where you go, everybody knows everybody. We found that for interviewing so many people, how many other breweries are helping breweries, and people know people, and it's so great. And something like that just again keeps piling on top of like how awesome this community is, which is why we keep ending up back with like we wanted to do so many other breweries, which eventually we will, but I feel like we're just kind of stuck here in Illinois for a good reason. Like in Chicago area and throughout Illinois, it's pretty great.
No, there's more than enough to talk to.
100%. And we just sometimes bring them back as well.
And it's a growing industry. It supports over 18,000 jobs in the state, has an economic impact of $3 billion to the state economy. So awesome. It's just such meaningful business, and it's such a cool industry. And you are right on, is that everybody I've met, I've been on the job for about a year and a half now, it's been so welcoming and really community minded and really in it for the right reasons to make great beer and to be a good business in their communities.
Yeah, and friends with each other. It's just like it's so cool.
The collaborative nature of the craft beer industry in Illinois is astounding. People ask me all the time, like, "Oh, there must be some pretty fierce competition now that there's 300 breweries," and the answer is like, maybe, but on the craft brewers listserv, when somebody needs XYZ hop or peach puree, within 5 minutes they're telling the listserv to stop emailing me. I have this thing, right? And so it everybody realizes that a rising tide raises all ships, right?
Yeah,
and so
totally.
that's what we're really seeing.
It's like the best competition, because like everybody gets a piece of the pie, and then everybody's helping each other, so it just kind of makes sense.
There's enough to go around. Yeah. So,
especially in like communities and neighborhoods and stuff. So it's like, if you want to go someplace, like, I mean, going out to Holzlager in Woodstock, you know what I mean? Like, that place is awesome, great beers, and they have their own little community there. And then there's people who come into Chicago. There's people in Chicago go out there, and I'm just using that as an example, but it's like, it's pretty great.
No, and there's room to grow. Yeah. Ohio has about 100 more breweries than us and about 1 million less people. So
we're coming for you, Ohio.
We could do this.
Except for Rheingeist. I love you guys. You guys make great beer, and you're coming up on your 10-year anniversary. Before we move on, Brandon, you are eyeing the beers over here because we are done with with the first beer. What beer should we do next?
I don't know. What's over there?
Oh, man, there's a lot. Ray brought some. I brought some. We can go one for one. We got some over here. I can rotate. Too bad Dan's not here because I did bring a Saison. But there is, you know what? I'm going to suggest Maplewood's, the dark lager.
Oh, it's a great beer.
I also wish I went to the bathroom before we started recording. Now I'll have to wait for the break. This is Maplewood's dark Czech style lager, which I have had before. I want to make this one of the last times I say this. I used to hate, actually only because of the guests. I used to hate lagers, right? I didn't not hate them. I just wasn't a huge fan. And then I figured out that I like darker lagers more than anything. So every time I see like a dark lager from somebody, I go for it.
It's one of my favorite beers, and unfortunately, the seasonality of it has it kind of trending out around summertime, which is sad for me.
Absolutely. There was, I don't know if it was like during the first year of the pandemic, 2020 or 2021, I did the Summer of the Stout. So every weekend I was trying, I'm saying every weekend, but it was more than that. I was trying different stouts, and it was just like, it was hot outside, but I was like, I had a fire going in my backyard, and there were stouts. So like dark styles like this, to me, I'm never opposed to it.
No, you get a lot of those kind of darker, maltier notes, and it's just a more robust drinking beer. But what is it? 5%, 5%.
Yeah.
And so you feel like you're having a solid beer, but it's lower ABV.
Not worrying about like, if I have two of these, I'm done for the night.
I'm gonna ruin my day tomorrow and wake up with a headache. No.
Yeah. But it's Friday tomorrow. Brandon, you look very serious right now. What's going on? Are we okay?
No, I'm just checking the audio. Weird echo, but it's just the other mic's slightly picking.
That's okay. I can adjust stuff like that, so it's okay. Brandon, have you ever had this beer before?
I don't believe so.
He's going in for the sip. He's looking at the can.
I've had it now.
I can say yes after that question. Yeah, dark lagers to me, it's what got me to appreciate and enjoy lagers. And then I realized I like Helles lagers, and Ducktails Helles lager is fantastic. So anytime I see any brewery that has a Helles lager, I go for that.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic.
No, that's you just have to find your style. I was talking to Carl from Twisted Hippo the other day, and he always talks about being behind the bar. And somebody asks about like, what would you recommend? And the answer always is, what do you like, right? And so, what are you into? What kind of flavors are you looking for? High alcohol, low alcohol, heavier, lighter. There's so much, choice in craft beer that it's really kind of you tailor to each individual taste.
Absolutely.
There's a market for everything, like even in beer.
Yeah.
The time we went to Twisted Hippo, they had a beet beer.
Yes, that was their soft opening we went to that one time, which was fantastic.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was, and I stayed away from it. I do not like beets. I've tried beets
I don't like
every
beets either.
other way. I hate beets. They're disgusting.
My wife loves beets.
Yeah.
My wife loves beets too. And she has tried to get me to try it every other way. It's just not good. Tastes like dirt. I don't want it. Ever. But this beer does not taste like dirt.
Isn't there a beet soup? Borscht?
Borscht.
Yes.
Yeah.
Russian beet soup.
No, thank you. Staying away from that as well. I mean, beets, are the natural color in, when you're making a good red velvet cake. That's what you use to dye it instead of dyes and stuff. You use beets.
That's why I hate red velvet cake.
No, you don't. That's a lie.
That is a lie. I'm a fat kid. I love all cake.
It's cake. We're eating it, baby. Yeah, dark lagers to me are great. Like I love Vienna style lagers, and a box and things like that.
Yeah,
are great. But anyways, I digress. Let's talk a little bit more about beer under glass. I mean that's why we wanted to bring you on, because we got the chance. Actually, I think it was thanks to you is how we ended up at beer under glass. If I'm not mistaken. Nope. Not you. Sorry, Ray. It wasn't you.
I think it was probably Joe.
It was Joe. That's right. But also through you. Technically, we got there. So we had so much fun last year. We did a recap, right?
We did.
Yeah. Brandon and I had a great time. And
That's
we're
awesome.
looking forward to going this year with the second year at the new location.
The ease of just hopping on the train and rolling right into the station was pretty sweet, especially since we got, train station right here.
Yeah, no, it's Friday, May 26th. It's in the Great Hall at Union Station underneath the glass. We have 125 participating breweries. Some are bringing 2, some are bringing
insane.
3 or 4 beers.
So cool.
Hundreds of beers that you could try from across the state in one place, right? And so it's one of the Guild's premier events. Between this and FOBAB, our 2 marquee events. And this is a real testament to how big this industry is. And trying to find a place big enough to hold them was quite the adventure. And so we're happy at Union Station. This is the 2nd year there, offering some food options, but plenty of room to kind of get around. And, the one thing that we pride ourselves with beer festivals in the Guild is having, a great experience for the brewers, but also the consumer, folks walking in the door. Because what ruins a beer fest more than anything is just waiting in those stupid lines, right? For your little sampler.
Absolutely.
So,
we sorry, I didn't mean to cut
ahead.
you off. I say we talked about that for the FOBAB episode, and we got a chance to go in a little bit early, but then even when it filled up, like it was so easy to go ahead and get pours. Same thing with Beer Under Glass last year. We were there like an hour early. I was like, wow, there's not a lot of people, but it didn't take long to there was maybe like in each line, because there's so many options the way it is and how many people you guys allowed in there. I mean, 2 or 3 people, maybe 4 in front of us, then like the brewers are just turning out those samples. It was just so great.
Yeah, we intentionally, cap tickets. A lot of beer fests around the state are just straight money grabs, and they're private entities that host them. And so, we are a nonprofit. These are fundraising opportunities for our nonprofit, but we want to make it a great experience. And so
You want people to come back.
Capping ticket sales is something we do. So it's important if you want to come to Bug, come buy your tickets now, because they are gonna sell out.
We will have the link in this episode so you can get it as well. Go get those tickets, baby.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. We have a VIP hour, so folks could buy a VIP ticket and come an hour early.
That's what I was the fact that Brandon and I got a chance to do that last year because we're kind of a big deal. We're part of the media. Really cool. It is worth it. It is totally worth it because it is a chance to, like you said, you cap off a certain amount of people, but there's still a lot of people there, so you don't really get it. You may not have the chance to maybe talk to some of these breweries and the reps or the brewers that are actually there. But in the VIP hour, it's a good chance to go and find the beers that you want to get.
That's right.
The breweries you want to hit up right away and get a chance to maybe talk to some of the people before they have to crank out the beers and stuff.
Yeah, and so you could either buy that ticket outright as a VIP, or you could sign up for an Imbibe membership through the Illinois Craft Brewers Guild. And so if you are a craft beer enthusiast, this is for you for sure. So for $50 a year, you get automatic early entry into Bug, a VIP upgrade, but you also get a VIP upgrade into FOBAB too.
Why are we not doing this yet, Brandon? We're morons.
Well, you guys are bigwigs now.
We appreciate the media passes, but I mean, if there's a chance we don't get a media pass, we probably should be doing this so that we're doing our, fair share of contributing.
Yeah, and so
other than buying all the beer.
And so now also you get Illinois Brewing Magazine mailed to your house and some other cool perks. You get discounts on American Homebrew Association membership. And so this is it's a program that we're really trying to build out for the beer enthusiasts to have, special access to craft beer.
That link is also in there because I'm looking it up when I go home because I need to sign back up for American Homebrewers Association.
Yeah, I think I just did. I just re-signed for a 3-year. I got a free Yeti mug. I was like, that's cool.
As of this release, National Homebrew Day was 2 days ago.
Yeah, the big
Saturday,
the big brew.
Yeah, the big brew. So that's cool. I had things going on. I have 2 birthday parties to go to. One for Brandon's son, which I'm looking forward to.
Nice.
That's awesome. I think it goes back to what you guys do as far as the community of the craft beer. I don't want to say scene. It feels more it really does feel like a family. It's like this giant group of people who have come together over beer, and everybody wants to see everybody succeed. But then there's also these things where it's raising money for stuff because you guys are a nonprofit. But then there's also these things that you're offering, and it's, $50 for something like that is great. And you have the chance to upgrade to VIP for Bug and FOBAB and stuff. And if you guys have never been to these festivals, whether you're out of town, out of country, because we do have some listeners out of the country. Thank you. Germany, Ireland, we're looking at you. These festivals are awesome. They're so much fun. We've gone to before we did the podcast, and last year was a great time because we had a chance to go to both of those. So last year was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun last year.
Yeah, FOBAB is the biggest barrel age festival in North America, and we live up to our reputation every single year. And beer under glass is a really one of a kind, unique experience where you could taste, a couple hundred beers in one place.
We do this thing called the Maltese, where we list our favorite beers that we drink in the year. It's like an award ceremony.
Very nice.
I shouldn't say an award ceremony. It's an award episode.
Yeah, there's no actual award.
Actually, this year though, Clark, even though you haven't been on an episode in a while, we're still looking at you. We are thinking about actually giving awards to the breweries for some of the favorite beers. And one of my favorite beers, and I can't think of it off the top of my head, it was a barrel-aged black lager that took everything that I wanted from a barrel-aged beer, put it into a lager, and it was a 5% beer.
Holy smokes!
It was.
Nice.
I will look it up.
Is that the one out of
we take a break.
North Carolina?
No. It's
okay.
Illinois. It's Illinois. It was fantastic. It was one, and then we got to try the regular version at the Great American Beer Fest.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I will figure this all out. If anybody knows it, so I don't have to look it up, send us a message or an email. Help me out, Clark. This is where I need you to give me some information. But it was one of my favorite beers of the year. I think it was in my top 5 or a runner up that we had. But it was fantastic. It was so nice because it was a nice dark lager.
Yeah.
Gave me everything I wanted in a barrel like that I expect from a barrel aged beer without it being high alcohol.
Well, with your passport, you could add some tasting notes.
Fantastic. Great idea.
That's awesome, actually.
I tried talking to my phone most of the time. First day at Great American Beer Fest last year, I did great. Then the second day, we're like, fuck it. We're just going to keep on going.
Yeah, it is very difficult, especially at Great American Beer Festival, to try to take notes of everything. No. I did better the second day, the second session we were there, because we were there for media as well, and like kind of running around, and I'm like taking notes, and like
that's what we do this year. One of us takes one day, the other one takes the other day, and that's our list.
That's a good way to do it.
Good way to do it.
But there was like the second day, I think we actually drank a lot of different beers than we had.
Well, you and I hung out actually more that day.
Well, yeah,
because I did karaoke, and that was fun. It was a lot of fun singing in front of all those people.
There's video.
I
posted it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also linked at the bottom.
Fantastic. Yeah, beer under glass is so much fun, and we, like I said, we really are looking forward to going again this year because we just had such a blast, and it's such a great way to end Craft Beer Week.
It is. It's usually the kickoff, but this year we're using it as the bookend.
I like it.
It's a really
stole my question.
Roll us into summer. Inside baseball, Union Station is a very highly coveted space, and so we wanted to figure out a date that worked best, and it's the Friday before the holiday weekend, and we were thinking that people would use this as a way to kick off their Memorial Day, and folks coming into town will say, "Hey, there's an awesome beer fest."
Hungover a weekend.
I mean, a little bit for Saturday morning, depending on how you pace yourself. Last year I was okay.
Yeah.
I woke up the next day at 10. I don't have little kids.
Well, we also
so
left
for me.
We didn't stay to the very end.
We did because we got the VIP. We were there an hour beforehand.
Yeah.
Then went to the Brewers Lounge. Yeah. Then drank more beers. Then had beers on the train, and then I was done, baby.
Yeah.
Well, that was I mean, you have to time it perfectly when you're leaving. If you're at the train station,
that's when you're there.
Because if everyone starts leaving at once, everyone's getting on that train. So it was like
nobody leave when we leave. Listen up. Don't look for us. Don't look for us when we're leaving.
Let's leave about an hour early.
We're leaving when there was only 10 people on the train. It's fantastic.
Oh, those metros are going to fill up at closing time.
It's so great. It was actually fun going in there because we saw some people drinking some beers that I think we're heading in there. So
yeah,
kind of cool. It's a good part about the metro.
And it's something that I always forget. I mean, I don't ride the metro that often, but it's something that I forget. Hey, you can drink on the metro.
Have a beer or two.
And that was the big thing. Always going up to Ravinia, people drinking.
Well, you can literally go to Beer on the Wall in Park Ridge and take that same train, I think, all the way down. Am I right about that? Different lines? Those are different lines.
Might be different lines. That may be the one that goes to Jeff Park.
Clark, can you go? Oh, it is. Clark, I need you to fact check that as well next time you hear this. Brandon, I think we're pretty close to a halfway point.
Yep.
Mainly because my bladder is telling me that we need to take a quick break. And I'm right about that?
Yeah.
Great. Fantastic. We'll be right back.
And we're back.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Ray Stout. Ray, how many people bring up the fact that your last name is Stout?
Everybody.
Yeah.
Every single person.
It's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's cool. There's some other folks in the industry that have like names.
Yeah.
John Barley.
I was gonna bring that up as well. Like that's the other one that sticks out.
Yeah,
John Barley,
so-
Ray Stout. Come on, you guys just making up these names.
It's my nom de plume.
I feel like this is made up. It's not. It's fucking-
Part of taking the job was having to change it.
I had to change your name.
I'm looking at all these applications. That guy's got a beer style for his last
Yeah.
name. We got him.
Yeah, that's it.
John Barley, you're the prez. Let's
He's
do
it.
this. Because that's where you start with beer. That's fucking great. So we're here and we're talking about Illinois Craft Beer Week and some events that are going on. Bray, again, thanks for joining us. What do you want to? What's going? What else are we going on?
That
was a terrible lead-in. I
What
just
else?
want to point out that before we started, like, Brandon, you do the lead-in, and then I took it, and it was awful. Brandon, why don't you give it a try? Why don't you help me out with this?
It is a good beer. So we kind of wrapped up kind of what the Illinois Craft Beer Week is going to look like, and I know there's some other things that are going on, and you specifically had mentioned something called the Day of Action, your Day of Action. So why don't you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, so events like FOBAB and Bug are a way that we fund our nonprofit organization, and it's an advocacy organization. So what people in Illinois and across the country don't realize is that every ounce of beer that is brewed and sold by a small craft brewery is tied to politics in one way or another, right? So it's a very highly regulated industry. There are lots of laws on the books that, if not corrected, will stymie the growth of the industry, especially as we're getting to this kind of second tier of growth. And so there's a couple of pieces of legislation that we're working on. Obviously, one is direct-to-consumer beer shipping, and that's something that we're going to continue the conversation on. It's something that's proved out in other states to be good for retailers and distributors alike. And so we'll keep pushing for direct-to-consumer beer shipping because, you can buy everything online these days, but
We got a chance to experience that, during the pandemic. It's what kept a lot of breweries alive.
1,000%. And so the other piece is we're working on an omnibus bill right now that would do a couple of things. It would increase self-distribution levels. And so I think it's important to note that, breweries can go through traditional beer distributors, but in Illinois, there's specific carve-outs where a brewery could sell their beer directly to a retailer. And that's something that's pretty unique. A lot of states don't allow for that.
Which is awesome.
And that's something that the Illinois Craft Brewers Guild fought for and won, and now we have, and that's why we have 300 breweries. But, some of those caps are pretty low, for a class 3 brewery, which is a brew pub with some self-distribution. They can only self-distribute 200 barrels of beer, which is not a lot of beer.
Right.
And so raising those caps to be in line with the marketplace is something that we're looking to do. Another quick one, there's lots of pieces to this, but another quick one is that, it is illegal for a brewery or winery or distillery to donate product for to a nonprofit organization for them to use it as a gift basket raffle or a bottle auction.
Huh.
Right. Really? Yeah. And so that's something that happens across the state, from your kids' PTA to Boy Scout meetings to, political fundraisers. Right. And so it's pretty silly.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure those are legalized. And the last thing that I think a lot of your listeners will like to pay attention to is, mug clubs and rewards programs have operated in a very gray area of liquor law.
Sure.
And there's nothing that says you can do them, but there's nothing that says you can't. And so the craft brewers are asking the legislature to clarify the rules on what's allowed with mug clubs or rewards clubs, because, most breweries in the state do have some level of mug club or rewards program already. Most retailers have rewards programs already that are operating, but we just don't know if they're right or wrong. So we need to know the rules. And so those are the types of things that we're looking to fix and pass this year. And part of the the proceeds from Bug or the proceeds from the pint glass sales that goes directly to funding our nonprofit advocacy organization.
That's that is probably the best summary of why Illinois Craft Beer Week is such like a big deal, and these events are such a big deal, because these are, while they may sound small, they're a big deal for these businesses, and this craft beer community that we've come to love, and especially us and everybody who listens to the show knows how much we love it, and everybody that comes on. like these are big deals. I mean, the fact that like I had no idea about the Mug Club situation. I knew about the direct to customer. You know, that was a big deal. That I've seen a lot about that. We're friends with different people online and seeing what's going on, and we've signed petitions and things like that. And so I'm looking forward to having that go through, because I feel like that's the best. That's awesome. And plus, come on, Illinois. At the end of the day, you guys are gonna get some money from it. Don't worry about it. Just let it ride. Let it ride. Figure out where you're gonna get that money, and we'll be cool. Everyone will be happy. We're all paying our taxes. That's my rant for the night.
There you go. Cheers.
I mean, it's true though. You know what I mean? It's like it's one of those things where it's like there's a way to make it work. There's a way to make it work where it works out for everybody.
Without a doubt, Mug Clubs specifically, right? Those rewards programs are so important to craft brewers, because when do people start their Mug Clubs? They usually start in January, February, and March. And when people aren't coming out to craft breweries, January, February, and March. And so those are important stopgaps built into business models.
One of the things that I did, especially this year for the dry January, I did dryish January. Dryish January was that I made it a point to still purchase local beer. I wasn't drinking it. I went out.
I hoarded
3 times. Yeah, I did. And then February rolled around for my birthday, and I go, fuck it, no. I did though, but I did. Like I made sure, like, I'm gonna they're releasing this. Here's a 4-pack here. There's a 6-pack of this, and then just kind of have something on hand. Just to make sure, like, I was still doing it. And so, I understand why people do dry January and why breweries specifically are not fans of dry January. But if you're going to do dry January, it's not a bad thing to you can still go and support, the local places and still buy stuff from them.
I will say 2 things to that. Number 1, January 1st must have been super rough for you. the second thing,
I had an eye thing going on, so I'll be honest, my dry January started around January 3rd. And then on the 14th and 15th, I drank, and then that was it.
And the second thing I'll say is that we actually have a lot of brewers getting into the NA space here in Illinois.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, because that is something that we've talked about on here a few times, how NA beers are getting better and better and better and better.
They are, and you get the full sensory experience. So Go Brewing out of Naperville is
I've yet to go there, and I can't wait to do it.
Great job of building beers that give you the sensory experience of drinking beer, but without the alcohol.
That's what I've always wanted. We've talked about, barrel aged. I want a barrel aged stout that's not 15%. Like, I really do. Like, I thoroughly. I mean, it's not. I'm not crazy here. I do enjoy a nice buzz. You know what I mean? Like, it's great. But the idea of having beer without the alcohol, without the the health effects that you could just you still have to do it, spread out and everything. But the fact that, like, if I come home from work and I'm, I got shit to do, and there's a beer that tastes like beer that I'm going to drink, and I can still get up on a ladder and put something up without worrying about falling, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah. You probably shouldn't even get on a ladder sober.
Shut the fuck up, man. Not cool. Not cool. You're right, but not cool. But yeah, I do like that. That's great.
Yeah, and then at Great American Beer Festival, we kind of made it a point to go around and look for non-alcoholic beers just to see, because we were kind of semi-planning our dry Januaries and see all right, what's out there that we can get a hold of. And, and Sam Adams won gold for their Just the Haze IPA, and that was
it's crazy.
Yeah,
did you try it?
Oh yeah.
Was it good?
I've bought during dry January. I bought a 6-pack of it, and that was I wasn't trying to purposely I need a beer tonight, but I was like, you know what?
Yeah,
it's Friday. I'm gonna treat myself to a NA beer.
Yeah,
I drank a lot of hop water during dry January.
Man, I've been really into the hop water recently too.
I'll get to that in a second, but the Sam Adams Just the Haze is
it's fantastic.
You can kind of, you can tell that it's there's no alcohol in there, but man, they really nailed that juiciness. That's IPA
impressive.
of it. It's really, really tasty.
Because that would be the hardest one that I think would be able to. That would be the hardest one to pull
for sure.
Right.
My favorite of NA beers that Athletic Brew Co. does, they did a sour that we got to try, and hands down, if you want to have, it's not something that's readily available, but I got one in February from them for my birthday. I got a free 6-pack, Soul Power, for Black History Month, and it was a sour beer, and it's fantastic. I spaced it out for when I wanted to drink it, because I'm like,
it was so good.
It was like drinking a solid sour beer. It's so good.
That's great. And so, yes, in Illinois, we have some really, really great NA breweries or people messing around in hop water or NA spaces. And so it's been a blessing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's really cool.
So with Illinois Craft Beer Week, obviously, coming up, this is kind of, I think, for a lot of people, the start of like summer. Because then it leads right into Memorial Day and like all that kind of stuff. So
I kind of think you guys should keep it the Friday going into Memorial Day weekend.
By all accounts, everybody's been pretty happy with the dates.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that is a great way to start. I mean, everybody looks forward to the long weekend. The best part about it is that you're going to a beer fest on Friday and you still have Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Yeah.
It's not like, I can't do much on Sunday.
Yeah.
Don't overindulge, guys. Just play it cool. But sometimes you don't feel great the next day.
Water.
Yeah. Drink a lot of water.
So my question was going to be, after, obviously Illinois Craft Beer Week, is there any, aside from FOBAB obviously out in the, late fall, is there any other events that you guys got coming up this summer?
So we partner with Choose Chicago. Choose Chicago is the marketing entity for Chicago. And so we run a program called Friday Night Flights.
Yes. Such a fun time.
Yes. Friday Night Flights is awesome. We just put out the notice to brewers today. My associate director, Katie Carrier, who's amazing, and I couldn't do anything without her, put out a call for brewers today. We're expecting about 36. Where the first Friday Night Flights is going to be at Gallagher Way on June 2nd.
Sweet.
Ooh, cool.
And so you'll roll right into that one. And so those are always great times. We usually do 2 sessions. Tickets are super affordable. I think they're like $35. They have a DJ, they have food trucks, and it's a really great time at Gallagher Way. The second one, we're still trying to figure out the date of it. So still trying to figure out some logistics, but we'll have probably a pretty big announcement for the craft beer season soon. So stay tuned to that for sure.
Awesome. Well, when you give that, when you let us know, so we can go ahead.
I'll let you know. I'll leak it.
Yeah, please. We got it. We got the exclusive. We got the exclusive. Yeah, that was one of the. That's how I met Chuck from Howard Street.
Yes.
Was that we saw each other there, didn't we?
Yeah. At Ravenswood, right?
Yeah, that's right. Joe needed someone to help pour from. Was it a dry hop when he was pouring?
It's all the same.
It was only I remember because it was the last one, and it was great because it was right by Dovetail.
Yeah,
and,
right in between. Beguile.
Yeah, Beguile.
Yeah,
it was fantastic. It was so much fun. Matthew was swamped. Everybody was coming to him. So when I was done, when Joe had run out of beer, I ended up hanging out with Matthew pouring beer. Then Joe and I went and talked to Chuck over at Howard Street. But that was such a fun night. It's so much fun.
It's really great because it's a good entry point for folks that are interested in craft beer, but not necessarily going to go out to a brewery and know what, because it could be overwhelming. Right?
Sure.
Especially as a beer novice or somebody who skews towards macro beers. You walk into this place and, there's all these styles that you don't really understand and all these flavors that you don't understand. These Friday Night Flights is a great chance for you to go out and try a beer from, 36 different breweries. And
to say, I like this type of beer.
Yeah.
What do you got?
And if you don't like it, just throw it out and get another
it's
one.
Easy.
Right?
Yeah.
So
it's fun. It's like a little street fair, like at least the one that we did. That's
the idea behind it, and it started under the ROM administration, where we would create kind of a street festival environment around craft beer, and so I'm hoping it continues under the new administration. We have 2 scheduled so far this summer.
Awesome.
And so we're pretty excited. So that will keep you going through the summer a little.
We will, whenever you guys announce it, we'll repost it. That's and everybody, out of state, feel free to come in. Feel free to come into Chicago for these things. We talk a lot of local stuff. Real quick, I just before you beg, I just finished what we were drinking.
Yes,
Brandon, what were we drinking?
We were drinking Temperance is barrel-aged birdsong, aged in oak gin barrels, then laid on fresh cucumbers.
That's summer in a can.
It was phenomenal.
Right? That was like, how much do you have left, Brandon? Are you done?
I'm done.
We're all done. Okay. I mean, we talked for a little bit. Like, we opened it up right before we came back from the break. Like, while it is a barrel-aged, but what's the ABV on there?
9%.
What's that?
9.
Oh, Jesus. Like, that was so delicious for a 9% beer. That's like, I mean, not that other 9% beers aren't delicious, but I could easily sit there and sip on that in a warm summer day.
And, and we split it between 3 people, and I don't feel like I got cheated.
No,
right?
not at all.
Like, I feel like that was a good amount of that.
And also, like, it's a nice gin flavor.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of gin, but it's very nice. But the cucumber, to me, is what stands out in that beer. That's like, wow, that's really nice. And like cucumber water is delicious. But that's like really refreshing for a barrel-aged beer.
Yeah, so like in my head, I was kind of going back to the Off Color Craft Gin Week, and just it's nice to see that good beers can come from like these gin barrels, and it's not a stout. It's a very light, easy drinking, like light in like mouthfeel and all that.
No,
shit.
it is. I mean, you're absolutely right.
But it doesn't drink like a 9% beer. It was super pleasant, and
like I'm worried about going to buy more of those.
Yeah,
like I should, but I will.
I mean, that is a like. I think I could probably give that to my wife, and she would probably like it too.
I think Laura would like that as well. Laura, I think like just
and she likes gin though.
Yeah,
too.
Exactly. She's a lush. She's not. She doesn't drink much anymore. No, it's fantastic. Look, we've got like 5 more beers in front of us. What are we doing next, guys? We got
QV.
I'm sorry.
QV.
We'll pour them all together in one. That's a terrible idea. They're way different styles. Ray, please choose whether it's what I brought you or what you brought. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's get down on it. Whatever you feel like.
I guess
having.
we broke the big sides.
So boom! I like it. Fantastic. We are doing another Illuminated Brewworks. This is like maybe only the second beer we've had from them
on the show.
I've reached out to those guys. Ray, I'm going to talk to you after the show. I need to know who I need to talk to.
They're great.
They are. Their spot is so awesome.
Who you can talk to.
I know who I can talk to. I'm not doing that. Their spot is fantastic. It's a small, cool little spot. You can bring food in there. The beers are fantastic. It's so cool. It is tucked away next to. I don't know if it's a dry cleaner or a car repair.
It's a car detailing
detailer shop. But
Norwood Car Wash.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so cool. I love that spot.
I had no idea that's where. I knew it was on Northwest Highway. I have not been there. I had no idea it was right there until
we talked about that going to
the
Beer
other
on the
day.
Wall.
Yeah, we were going to Beer on the Wall, and he goes, "Oh, there's Illuminated."
Yeah, it's like right across the street, kind of. Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, right by the car wash." I'm like, "You fucking serious?"
I poured this terribly.
It's like
got more head than I needed, baby.
But it's great. You go in there. They have like really cool skateboards on the wall. They have pictures of David Hasselhoff. They have some pretty cool stuff.
It's a great little. It feels like a local bar while still being a craft beer brewery.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And everybody there has been so nice. I got a little tour of everything. Their setup there is like a giant. It's not a homebrew setup. That sounds terrible, but it's the smallest, tallest brewery setup that I've ever seen, which is so cool. Like and they're not small. I mean, they're distributing everything and like they're cranking out beer all the time. But is there gnomes working there like 24/7? I have no idea. Like they just put out so much beer, and their space like they utilize that space so well, and it's so cool.
You always have beer when you don't sleep.
This guy gets it.
It's the real definition of craft. I've seen brew systems all over the map in the state. I was at recently Rabid Brewing in Homewood.
Hey, it's good friends of ours. Yeah,
they're great.
Like high school.
Ray and Tobias.
Yeah. Well, I went to high school with Tobias's brother.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I work for the company that one of the products we sell is one that Tobias's dad wrote. So yeah.
But
there's a lot of history with them.
They're still they're using like a milk chiller to cool the beer, and have retrofitted all these other pieces that used to be used for distilling liquor and it's just so cool. It's just such a testament to the craft, and they're putting out great beer in another unassuming location. Both Ray and Tobias, the ownership team there, are phenomenal people, and check them out for sure.
A little fun fact: they were supposed to be the first episode that we did.
Oh, cool!
They were the 50th episode.
Well, you say that. that sounds right.
We hung out with them at Fobab. Actually, it was a lot of fun.
We hung out with them at Fobab. We hung out with Ray a little bit at Beer Under Glass.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. When we were in the Brewers Line.
Yeah, when we were out there walking around getting drinks. We had walked up to Rabid's line, and I was Ray or Tobias does not go to events usually.
Yeah, but he was there for Fobab.
He was there for Fobab, and Ray wasn't at the booth either. But I went up there and I was like, "Oh, what do you guys got?" And she's like, she just looked at me and she's like, "What do you like?" I was like, "Well, like pretty much whatever." And she's like, "You look like one of us. I'll give you this."
One of us.
I was like, "Okay." So then I told Ray that, and she was dying. I was like, Instead of the one you guys.
Did you remember what the one of us got?
I think I probably checked it in.
You probably did. Yeah, no, they're great. But what's this beer that we're drinking? Because I think I've had this before.
So this is Junior Astronaut Juice. It's a double dry hopped India Pale Ale.
Mm-hmm. Does it say what hops they use in there? Just out of curiosity.
It says hops. Mosaic.
Exclamation point.
I drank mine really fast. I poured like a lot ahead, and I just kept going. So I'm already done with mine. Sorry, guys.
Mosaic, Mandarina, Bavaria, Amarillo,
Okay,
and Pacifica.
Oh, interesting. Very nice. I like it.
Sounds like a weed strain. Pacifica.
Hey man, hops, weed, they're cousins. That's really good. I like this. Maybe I haven't had this before, but I mean that's 2 Illuminated Brewworks beers that I really enjoy.
Hey, no, they're doing good stuff, so go check them out for sure.
Their War on Christmas beer, they change it. Don't they change it every year? I think.
Maybe.
I think. The only reason I bring it up because I thought it was something different years ago, and this year was like. I could be wrong. I'm gonna cut myself off there. I think it's a white stout regardless.
My favorite beer of theirs is they brew it for Pride every year. It's called the Gay Agenda.
Yes,
and it's phenomenal.
The
and the
label
artwork
on there
the
is
can
so
perfect.
awesome. It's the greatest.
Absolutely perfect.
I can't wait because it looks like they still do. They do stickers on the cans or those plastic?
They
plastic.
they actually are just starting to
Plastics.
print cans. I was there the other day talking to them about
They
it.
probably won't.
It's a sticker.
Yeah, I can take that, but I don't know.
So, but they do have. But this one was wrapped, so they do the plastic. They're actually doing all 3 right now. To tell you the truth.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
So, but that label is one of the best beer labels
is.
I've ever seen.
it's fantastic.
Look it up.
Yeah,
if you have not
seriously,
seen it.
look it up. It is fantastic. I think Clark gave me one a couple years ago because he bought it specifically for how great the label was because they were doing the Pride thing. I think it's before he got his house when he was closer to Wrigley, where the Pride Parade starts. I'm trying to think what else.
So, you want to tell you how Beer Under Glass started?
Hey man, thanks a lot for leading.
Well, you did ask. You said you were going to ask that.
I was, and then I totally forgot because I just blanked right now because I was so focused on Illuminated Brewworks and everything, and then I was really bummed that they're not doing that sticker. That I did not save that the can sticker, and I did kind of think about that and try to remember where Clark used to live. Hey Ray, tell us a little about the history of Beer Under Glass. I'm also going to open up one of these other beers because I finished that one
please
so
open
fast.
up another beer. Beer Under Glass is a really cool story, and so it goes back to the early days of the Craft Brewers Guild, and the tight knit community that we are and were back then. At some point, 13-ish years ago, 14-ish years ago, the Garfield Park Conservatory was devastated by a hailstorm.
Right.
And so broke a lot of the glass paneling and panes above the arboretum there.
Which is so awesome.
Which
It's
is
such a great
beautiful,
spot.
and if you haven't been there, go check it out. It's free. It's really cool. Bring your kids. It's such a great space.
Really nice.
And so they were trying to figure out how the heck they were going to pay for this, and so our president at the time, Pete Crowley, who is the godfather of Fobab.
Hey, we know that guy. He was on the episode 15 episodes ago.
He, started a partnership with Garfield Park Conservatory to help raise funds to rebuild the glass. And so that went on for a number of years, and it was a great partnership, and we really appreciated our time there. A lot of people say, hey, we really liked Garfield Park, and I really liked Garfield Park too. But last year they were undergoing a pretty significant renovation, which would have really limited the number of brewers that could have attended the festival. And at the end of the day, it's about showcasing as many brewers as we can. And we really can't hold a beer festival that has 20 brewers.
Right.
We need 120 brewers. And so,
Yeah.
We moved away to Union Station and had a really great experience there. And since then, they've moved on from us, and and so
No hard feelings.
no
Everybody
hard,
is
no hard
good.
feelings.
Yeah.
We love that place. We wish them well, and hope to maybe do some more events there in the future for sure. But
Sure.
right now Union Station is the home of this, and from all accounts, from all the metro riders near and far, and everybody who can get to it in the Uber ride. And I remember going to Beer Under Glass before I worked for the guild, and kind of waiting outside for my Uber, and it took a long time to get out there to Garfield Park, and you're just standing and waiting, and so having a place downtown that's easily accessible by public transit is just such a better option. For us.
Absolutely.
So, cheers to Garfield Park and the years that we had there, but I'm excited to continue to grow this at Union Station.
And it could always be a future location for Friday night flights.
Good thinking.
Yeah.
Well, while you were talking about that, we did open up another beer because, I just want to have another beer. I didn't know that Sketchbook made this style.
This, I think, is pretty new for them. I was up there earlier this week for a news segment on Craft Beer Week, and I asked Caesar, I was like, "Hey, what are you pouring?" And he gave me this, and this is a smoked Polish style wheat ale.
Do you guys know how to pronounce it? I butcher it every time.
No, you got this?
I'm gonna give it. Look at it. Give it a try.
Were you gonna say Polska or the actual name of the style?
No.
I thought it was Gradetsky.
That sounds good.
Sounds like a hockey player.
I will. That's Gretzky, but I think it's Gradetsky, and I will check with my coworker tomorrow because he and I just recently talked about. He was just in Poland. He's Polish, and it's not actually a really common style there. But he's like, I had one. He's like, are you familiar with it? I'm like, yeah, Double Clutch does a fantastic one. Like, and it's this is a little bit higher. This is 4. I don't have my readers. 4.3, but the Double Clutch one I feel like was maybe 3%, but it was so good. Like, nice smokiness. It's not overpowering, but it's just a light, delicious beer with like something else, and that's that smokiness.
I like this. I was saying before on the break is like I usually don't like smoked beer.
I'm with you. I don't really care for smoked beers.
But this it just has like a campfire taste to it.
It's like if you're
not liquid smoky.
I hate to do this again, but it's like if you're sitting in your yard, you have a bonfire, it's a summer night, and then you have a nice light beer, and then the smoke wafts into your face as you're taking a sip. That's what this
what you
is
got
like. But it is. I mean, it's not pungent, it's not overpowering. It's just a nice like accent to a very light beer already.
Yeah. And again, this is kind of an example of the unique things that we're doing here in Illinois with beer, right? Taking traditional styles and putting it out to, the masses.
I like that you bring that up because we really do run the gamut of going crazy with styles. If you take someone like, or breweries like Goldfinger and Dovetail, right? Just throwing those two out there. Kind of similar.
Yeah.
And then you take someone like fucking Hot Butcher and then like put like, we're from the same area, like not same area, but like we're from Illinois. Like, but those like breweries in general, I'm just trying to think of another one.
No, it's not like Vermont where everything's a haze bomb.
Right, exactly.
And
like,
so
but like even Hot Butcher, like they have variety, but I mean, to me, Hot Butcher does such a great job with like, when I want like a crazy, like not crazy in a bad way, but like a really good, like hazy IPA, there's ones that are just like, so good.
Like bite your finger.
Yeah. And then like, give me hey Goldfinger, give me a Vienna Lager. Yeah. It's going to like,
slow pour. Yeah.
It's just fantastic. I mean, and all the other breweries that we have, we've talked so much about like well-known ones like Revolution and Goose Island and stuff like that. Like really Illinois just has so much to offer when it comes to craft beer, and it's so cool.
And all the way down to, Scratch Brewing in Ava, right? Where they're doing mushroom beers or foraged beers, and it's just so unique,
so wild.
Like up for James Beard Awards, right?
I like that, dude. I like that.
But
but would be cool,
and everything in between. Yeah. It's such a cool scene.
That's why I wish Dan was here, because Dan really does have like, he's got his finger like, I feel like on the pulse of a lot of different breweries. He's a big fan of his and we're trying to get them to come on. So Dan, I know what we're waiting for, man. Throw us some dates. Let's go. Get on this, Dan. There's just so much. Like, I mean, Illinois is massive. Yeah. Like everything's in Illinois. It's like Springfield and Chicago, and that's it. It takes 6 hours to get from Chicago down to the most southern tip, and then another 6 hours to Atlanta. So if that gives you any idea of how big Illinois is, that's
6 hours to Atlanta?
From when you're at the southern tip of Illinois, it's 12 hours to Atlanta from here. Really? I've done it so many times, man. Trust me.
How fast are you going?
I'm going to Spelem except for the time I got a ticket. What? What's that?
Grodziskie.
I don't think I was close at all then.
No.
I was like Grodzetsky.
Grodzetsky.
I think I was like more Russian.
Grodzitskia.
Okay. I'm still gonna ask Phil tomorrow at work.
Yeah, check in.
That's it for me.
If he says Gretzky, then
You know.
Nobody
You are
knows.
not. You are lying to me. Go back to playing Diablo on Xbox. Sketchbook is one of the breweries that we're also trying to get on because, like, dude, they make great beers too. I mean,
So I know a couple people there, so I can maybe help facilitate that conversation.
I've known a couple people there, so Ray, I might lean into you a little bit more. Just I have your phone number now. Okay, right.
What? Yeah, you do have my phone number now.
Sorry about that.
You know the one.
It worked, Brandon. We fucking got Ray's phone number.
Yeah.
Hey Ray, we want to do this interview with these guys. Can you just find out what's going on?
One thing I will say about Sketchbook, and something that is
Caesar's one of the nicest guys, by the way.
one of the nicest guys ever, and gaining traction in the craft beer scene in Illinois and more, importantly across the country, is that they have a real commitment to being a sustainable, environmentally friendly brewery, and so to the point where Caesar is driving spent grain hours to farmers so it doesn't go into the landfill.
I'm glad you brought that up because I thought there was something recently, isn't that the Illinois Craft Beer Guild posted about breweries that are doing things like that to
Yeah.
make it more sustainable. Was Lake Effect? Lake Effect was a part of that.
Yep,
last year.
Clinton Lake Effect is involved in our sustainability committee.
We can't wait for that new tap room.
Oh, it's going to be so great, and they make awesome beer.
Falcon Dive is one of my favorite IPAs of all time.
Emancipation Brewing
Uh-huh.
has gone all solar for their,
What?
and
Awesome.
so
that's cool.
I think their spent grain also goes to farmers, although they have a lot more of a choice of farmers where they are than we do
Sure.
in Chicagoland. But brewers are making small changes that are impactful, whether it's moving away from these plastic wrap labels to printed cans, or watching how many times they rinse their vessels to
Even
maintain
the
water integrity.
recycling the plastic
the
topper, yeah.
text, there's
Yeah.
breweries across the
Reusing
state
them. There's different ones that they're out now. and just-
reusing
yeah.
them or collecting them, because generally, I think it's important, even though they say 100% recyclable, when they go in the recycling, they just get kicked to the side and
Yeah.
thrown in the landfill. So bring your pack techs, which are the things that connect the cans on top, bring them back to your local brewery because they will love you for them. They cost 18 cents a piece, so they're saving money. They'll reuse them if they
Absolutely.
can, and they'll recycle them if they can.
Please bring them to Beer on the Wall because sometimes I go in there and they're not on the hook.
Oh, no.
Then I'm walking around with a basket full of beers. So I think I'm just gonna bring them to them too to be like, come on, guys, I need to bring these beers back. That's fine. But yeah, it's again another fine example of how the beer community here in Illinois is just so awesome. It's super cool. It's such a great scene. It's fantastic. And I feel lucky that we've kind of become a part of it because we know so many of you guys now.
Yeah.
We've become friends with you.
You guys are
Just
in.
other people. I feel like we're kind of a big deal now. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit how many people listen to this show in Germany. I do care. Thank you for listening in Germany. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
But no, it's fantastic, and I hope more people. I'd love to see what other states and other cities are doing as well, because obviously we're not the only ones. But it's so nice to be able to talk about where we live, to know what everyone's doing, and it's not just about like, hey, we're cranking out beer, get fucked up, call it a day, see you later, don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Because I feel like alcohol is still alcohol. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But like, there's still a community around this of like people who are still doing things that are good, responsible, and it's just trying to help the community and make a difference, which is fantastic.
It's I'm very lucky to work in this industry, and I'm happy to have folks like you reporting on this industry and involved in this industry, because it's something that's so important to their communities, and the product is delicious.
It really is. It's getting harder and harder to find a bad beer here in Illinois. I gotta be honest.
Agreed.
Like, it's starting to come down to where it's like, I don't prefer that. But if I'm on tap, still doing a 4.25 because that's a fucking good beer.
Yeah, I don't think I've walked into a tap room or anything lately where I've had something I was just like,
No. Even if it's just like, that's okay.
yeah.
But it's still a good beer. It may not be what I want, but like it's still a good beer.
Yeah, it all comes down to preference.
Ray, you got anything else you want to talk about, man? Do we cover it all for now until the next time?
I think I'll
So
see
next time
you
we
in
bring it
15 more episodes. Is that what my interval?
We'll start doing that now. That's fine. We'll see you at
Good check-in.
What is that? 125? 120. We'll see you at 125, which should be like sometime next year.
Yeah.
Brandon, you got anything else you want to talk about, man?
No, man. I appreciate Ray coming out.
Yeah, and also Ray, thanks for bringing some beers. That
too.
I'm house trained, so I know how to show up someplace.
And, appreciate the passports.
Yeah,
And,
the glasses are yours too.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll see you at Bug. We'll be there.
Well, so will I.
I'm following up on that email, and I'll text you. No, this is great, man. Thank you so much, and we look forward to talking to you again. This is fun. This is why we do this show, being able to talk about things and like that's so important as far as like especially the community that we live in for craft beer and sitting around drinking beer.
Hey,
it's fun, man.
Could be a worse Thursday.
It's true. Matthew could be here.
It is Thursday.
Piece of good.
Ooh, gotta work tomorrow.
Oh no, we gotta wrap this up. Brandon, love you, man.
Love you, bud.
Ray, thanks again, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
This has been The Malting Hour. Be sure to follow us on all social media by searching The Malting Hour and at themaltinghour.com. You can also follow us individually on social media. Brandon can be found on Instagram as BMDub81, on Twitter, BDub81, and on Untapped as BDubDrinksBeer. Tony can be found on Instagram and Untapped under Ace of Help Chicago, on Twitter, The Ace of Help Chicago. Clark can be found as Clarkowski on all three. Dan can be found on Instagram as hip__hops and hip hops on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like, and rate the show on your preferred podcast listening platform. Until next time, cheers from all of us at The Malting Hour.